What is going on, DeRosa Insiders community? This is Matt Faircloth, and welcome to the Cash Flow Digest. There it is, right there. Cash Flow Digest. Holding up your cash flow with my hand. Welcome to the Cash Flow Digest, guys. Have a little bit of fun today. We're going to be talking about all things cash flow, as we always do on this show, talking about how you guys can build passive income streams, active income streams, whatever it is. Cash flow showing up on a daily basis is what this show is all about. All right, guys, transitioning here. I want you guys to give lots of hearts and love and thumbs up for our guest that's going to be joining us today, because we're going to be talking about just ways to make money with, like, let's just say ways to make money with a four-walled box, right? And this person's going to be bringing us on is going to be really taking us to school on ways that we can make money, not just with an immobile four-wheeled box that could be your home, could be a commercial real estate investment. This person is going to talk to us about a four-walled box that's on wheels, right? And how you can make lots of money with something that can move around. We're not talking about mobile homes directly. We're going to be talking about things that people can tow behind their car and take around in all kinds of different places. So without further ado, guys, let's hear it, and lots of hearts and love for my guest today, which is Garr Russell. Garr, welcome to the show, man. How are you today?
Hey, brother. I'm doing good. You?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Thanks for joining us in the Cash Flow Digest. I'm excited to get into this conversation. I love conversations that are not down the middle of the fairway. I mean, not that I don't love talking to people all about how they built their way up through a traditional real estate venture. Maybe you came from that world and got into a new space, but I'm looking forward to today's conversation about more off the wall conversation. I'm an off the wall kind of guy. So I like those kind of conversations. So I'm looking forward to hopping in with you. Could you please take a minute and tell our audience a bit about your backstory? Tell us all about you, and then we can hop into the convo.
Yeah. First of all, I'd just like to say, I think as entrepreneurs, like we all naturally at some point gravitate towards real estate. Like
Yeah.
as you grow as an entrepreneur, you learn about
Yeah.
cash flow and people working for you and all that. It's like real estate. It just makes perfect sense. So yeah, I do own real estate, Airbnbs, long terms, multi-units. And then that's kind of part of how I fell into my real estate story here. And
Nice.
it's kind of like, some of the adventures we go on in life, we kind of fall into them. And that's
Yeah.
really what happened to me. I had actually owned a credit counseling company, and my whole goal, my credit counseling company, was creating homeowners.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that business on autopilot, and I'd use my money to purchase real estate. And it was kind of, life was on autopilot for me. And I thought, all right, I need to get out and start having some fun now. It was me and my wife's 10-year wedding anniversary. So I thought, all right, I'm going to buy her a brand new camper. We're going to start camping. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go outside and enjoy the outdoors together. So I bought her this $30,000 travel trailer for our 10-year wedding anniversary. And at the time, we lived in Michigan. So I brought it to Grand Haven State Park on Lake Michigan, and I set it all up, and I had the chairs and the campfire pit and all the things, perfect in my mind. Like, this is going to be the perfect gift. My wife's going to love this. She shows up, takes a look around, it basically goes in the camper, comes out. She's like, all right, well, I'm heading home. And the way she said it, it wasn't like I'm heading home to get something. It's like, I'm heading home and I'm not coming back.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, you're heading home. She's like, yeah, it's horribly hot out here. I'm 7 months pregnant. It's like sandy, windy. She's like, thanks, but no thanks. Like, I'm out of here,
I love it. You thought you're going to be the best husband ever, helping out your pregnant wife, hey, let's have some adventures and whatnot. I have a similar story with RVing, which we don't need to get into, but my wife felt like she was still at home, but didn't have a lot of the comforts of being at home. When she was in an RV like that, she was like, yeah, this is great, but I'm looking forward to going back to my house. I get kind of done pretending I don't have one, so not for everyone. So there you go. You've got this $30,000 investment. Your wife's like, bye, Garr, see you later. So then what?
So then, I'm in this moment of pain, and I thought, all right, well, I have an RV payment. I want to get rid of this pain as quick as possible. What's my next step here? So I literally threw it up on Craigslist for rent. And within hours, I had people messaging me, hey, we're camping here in August. Hey, we're camping here in the fall. Hey, we're doing this next weekend. And literally within hours, I'm booking my camper out. I don't have contracts. I don't have the security deposit. None of that's figured out, right? Like, it was basically, I'm how do I move away from this pain as quick as possible? I threw it up for rent. People started inquiring, and it was game on at that point. So, fast forward to 2 months later, the end of August, that was baby number 4, and all of our kids were born via C-section. So the baby that basically sent her home miserable, hot, and pregnant, now we're having that baby. And so we have the C-section. I get them back into the room and all settled in. I'm like, all right, love, I'll be right back. She's, oh, okay, where are you going? I'm like, well, I got to go sign the papers on these 4 RVs I bought. I'll be back in like 2 hours max. I promise it won't take me long. And so there we are. We're full steam ahead into our RV rental journey.
I could probably take a $30,000 RV and put it out in front of my home, and my neighbors are gonna maybe give me some stink eye. But at the end of the day, they're fine with it. Where do you put 4 RVs?
Yeah, so I had some property that I lived on that I was able to kind of stack the RVs at. That's a whole nother story. That turned into all of a sudden I was in the country. I thought I had 3 neighbors. Well, once I started getting served papers from the county, I realized I had 30 neighbors, and they all hated my RV rental business. I was running off my property. So yeah, that's a whole nother.
Yeah. No,
adventure.
I get it, man. I get it. Okay, so you went from this one RV that you were renting. How did you know what to charge when you first put your RV up for rent? Craigslist, were you just throwing spaghetti up against the wall to see if it stuck, or did you do some research to determine what the market would bear in renting that RV from you?
Oh no, it's just like any venture, an entrepreneur, the first time you step into any venture, right? It's like you just start running, and then
Yeah.
you discover, oh man, I overcharge, I undercharge, I should have did this, I shouldn't have done that. So
Most
yeah, I probably
entrepreneurs
threw it
build
up
a
like
parachute on the way down. Yeah.
yeah, we'll figure it
Yeah.
out as we go. So
Yeah.
yeah, I probably just threw it up. I forget, $100 a night, something like that.
Okay.
And then what I started stumbling upon, as I continue to walk this venture out is, you've got Airbnbs for STRs. I found, well, there are some peer-to-peer platforms for this industry. RV Share, Outdoorsy are the 2 major ones. So then I started listing on there, and then I started getting a little more, methodical about it as far as, okay, I should probably charge this. I could charge a delivery fee. In the moment of it, I was just trying to avoid the pain of feeling like a jerk for investing $30,000 and, upsetting my wife.
Yeah. I got it. Okay, so fast forward, now you've got, where are we today? So how long ago was that?
That was July of 2016.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you've been able to scale and build it all out, right? So where are we today in that? Tell us a bit about what you're up to now, and we'll talk about the time in between. And I really want to dissect, like, if you don't mind, the mechanisms that somebody listening here might be inspired to do exactly what you're doing. Let's get to the how-to part, but give us a reality check on where we are today with your RV business.
Yeah. So today we've got 31. So we're actually a franchise opportunity now. So we're
Wow.
federally trademarked, registered with the FTC, and we have 30 franchises. 31 we just launched, our 31st location around the country.
And what's the franchise called?
It's called Fireside RV Rental.
Fireside RV Rental. And is it a virtual shop, or is it a sticks and bricks location that when people buy into the franchise?
Yeah. So the cool thing about this business model, it's very low overhead. You're using other people's assets.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to group all your RVs into a central location, preferably not in your backyard. I learned that one the hard way.
Yeah.
So what we usually do is we partner with storage facilities. So we'll find a storage facility in our area, explain to them our business model, and we'll group the RVs right there. The owners are going to pay for the storage. And if you get lucky, you'll find a storage facility like a lot of our franchisees have, where they're going to throw a big banner for you right out front. So they're going to market the franchise opportunity to their RV owners that are in storage. And now we've seen a really cool switch in the storage industry here the last year is storage facilities. They're starting to offer extra services like, hey, we'll detail your RV. We'll deliver it to the campground for you. We have a dump station on site. So I literally have a college kid in Tennessee who has a franchise with us. In the storage facility that he's partnered with, does all of his cleanings, all of his repairs, his walkthroughs, his deliveries. He's literally sitting in his college class, responding to inquiries, connecting renters with the RVs, and getting paid.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, I love that. So do the franchisees own or lease the RVs, or are they finding owners that are joining their local platform, or both? Is it work both ways?
Yeah, so we're a management company. So
Right.
basically, just you think of real estate and will estate. Basically, the owner is giving us possession of the RV. They're still paying for the maintenance, the payments, the insurance, the tags, the titles, the storage, all that stuff. We're just basically facilitating the care of the RV and
Yeah.
then the rentals of the RV.
Okay. 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 I put my RV, if I'm a franchise owner or whatever it is, maybe the self-storage folks are willing to deliver that RV and bring it back, right? What if they're not? How do you find the people that deliver the RV to where it's supposed to go and to bring it back and everything like that?
Oh yeah, man, that's one of the fun parts. It's old guys with trucks,
Yeah.
retired old guys, and they're hanging out at the VFW or the alike, or they're school bus drivers during the year, and then they're off during the summer. So yeah, it's
And they
just
love
fun.
driving around large objects, right? Like at the end of the day, this is fun for them, is to go hitch up this RV, deliver it, set it up for the people, bring it, go back and pick it up and everything like that, right? This is a joy for them.
Oh, it is,
Yeah.
man. I would take my kids on deliveries. We homeschool our kids, and we're raising them as entrepreneurs. And so to go deliver an RV for a family and to watch the kids run in there and they're picking which bed they're going to have and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, we find some retired old couples that want to set these up. Maybe a lot of them have actually camped, because that's what really everyone used to do years and years ago, right? And now it's a huge trend again. There's state and federal campgrounds going up everywhere, and campgrounds are selling for a premium now.
Mhm.
So that's what we do as far as executing the rentals and stuff like that.
Wow. Okay. Do a lot of your franchisees own the RVs themselves, or are they? I might have missed that, but are they owning the RVs themselves, or are they finding owners of the RVs and offering like a partnership or a share with the RV owner?
So yeah, that's the lesson I learned when I went and bought the 4 RVs after we
Yeah.
had Isabella. I quickly was told by God, the business model is other people's assets, Gar. You can't
Yes.
go out and buy 100 RVs and have 100 payments and this, that. And I saw that during COVID too. I'm so glad that I was obedient to that, because during COVID, I saw a lot of my competitors who had 20, 30, 40 unit fleets and all that overhead when everything shut down for that short period of time, that literally they were out of business within weeks.
I bet.
Because they had all that overhead. We have none of that overhead. And we're collecting after we collect our franchise fee, our operators are collecting a 40% management fee from the RV owners. So there's a huge margin there.
Yeah, yeah, and the RV owner gets to enjoy the RV when they want. It's almost like an Airbnb in some ways, right? It's like your Airbnb in that sense, that you don't have to own all the Airbnb does not own all the houses that are on Airbnb, right? They're just providing a platform for those that are on Airbnb. It's actually, if I compare what you've got to Airbnb, it's even more brilliant than Airbnb, because it'd almost be like I would be providing an opportunity for someone to own a franchise for all the Airbnbs that are in a certain region, or something like that. It's okay. If anybody wants to put their house up on Airbnb, they would need to run it through, Joe Smith, who's the regional territory manager for Philadelphia or whatever it may be. In that. So it's actually, it's interesting in that sense that they can really expand out, they can network and everything like that, while they also aren't burdened with the cost of all that overhead. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
the cool thing about it too, when we say real estate, is people aren't just renting these to go camping. We've got, you have a natural disaster hit, and then we get, or a house fire, insurance companies are reaching out to us, corporate events, festivals, equestrian events. It's a house on wheels, so we can bring it wherever it needs to be. And it gets interesting. Like during COVID, all of a sudden we're renting out mobile quarantine units.
Yeah.
We're getting grandma and grandpa from Florida back up to New York. And then we had a contract with the NFL. And then we had electrical engineers at 5 of the power plants up in Michigan. We're staying in them as mobile quarantine units. And it's really unique. The different opportunities that you discover, you're not just sending a family camping necessarily.
Yeah. Well, are there standards that Fireside has for the RV condition, for what's equipped? Because here's what happened to my wife and I, right? And this was certainly not through your company, right? This is through one of those nationally franchised companies that owns the equipment. So it was like, I think RV to go or RV or Cruise America or something
Cruise
like
America,
that, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So we went and rented a drivable RV, right? And it was bare bones, man, Gar. It was nothing but a box And so when I brought that thing home, we were all like, man, that's really cool. My neighbors were all out taking pictures of it. My wife and I were like, wait a minute. So now we have to load this thing up full of dishes and all of our bed sheets and all of our stuff in my home now needs to go into this box. Right. And that's why my wife was like, listen, I feel like I just moved. Okay. Into this box. And then we went away and we went to a campground, had a great time. And then we had to unpack again, like we were just moving back home. Right. So it's like we moved away for the weekend and then moved everything back in. So, but my friends were like, you didn't have to rent an empty box like that. You can get a box that has a lot of the stuff that you need in it. Whether it has bed linens or not, maybe you don't want that, but maybe it's got at least like a salt and pepper shaker in there. I had to bring all my spices from my kitchen, Garr, into this RV. It had nothing, no forks, no silverware, nothing in this box. I had to bring my silverware from my kitchen into the box, right? So does a typical box from your company come in with it? And do you have a standard for those things?
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. That's one of the cool things about this not being with a Cruise America RV. They've got all their branding everywhere. I mean, the whole world knows that you rented this billboard on wheels and you're driving it to wherever you're going.
That's the other thing I felt like. I felt like I rented their commercial. I felt like I was just driving around with like, people are looking at me like, oh, I know what you're doing. I know where you got that thing from, right? So no incognito in that. Yeah. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so that is the neat thing about these RVs is, they've got slide outs, they've got stabilizers, they've got the bells and whistles that, one of the big brands isn't going to have. And then it really depends on where you rent from. Some of our branches, they do rent those items separately. Some of our branches include them, but there's definitely all the options. And that's really one of the money-making activities too for our franchisees is, you can rent a kitchen kit. You can rent extra linens. You can have airport delivery. You can have a s'mores kit, camping chairs. So, the imagination could go wild there with generators, bike racks. So pretty much anything somebody could think of to rent that they want to add on. We have a couple of my franchisees are phenomenal at this in Texas and Arizona. They'll have rentals go out where the renter is literally paying more for the add-ons in the rental because they're on vacation, right? So dad's like, oh yeah, I'll take every stinking, that's how I am when I travel, right? It's like, I want every stinking option available. I'm on vacation. I want it all,
I want the camping chairs. I want the cooler. I want whatever. I want the cooler full of ice. If there's an option to put ice in the cooler as well, if I could check that box as well on your menu. Garr, I would have paid real good money for a kitchen kit from Cruise America, but guess what? They didn't have that option. So a linen kit, everything like that. So yeah, I get it, man. Questions from the audience, Garr. What is insurance like? I'm assuming, and let's talk two different sectors on that, right? My guess is that there is a insurance liability on the owner of the RV. Let's talk about that. And maybe there's different insurance packages because they're subletting the RV in essence. And then what's the insurance like for your franchise owners, if there is?
Yeah, so there's insurance just like, Airbnb, Turo, all the other industries. A lot of them are, underwritten by, and I'm forgetting their name. So you're basically paying a per day insurance fee. And that's actually being paid by the renter. So it's got the damage, it's got the liability, it's got all that. And then obviously our franchisees, just like anybody with an LLC, you should have a general liability policy. So those are in place.
But you're passing that through to the renter.
That's all getting passed on to the renter. Yep. The renter's paying a damage deposit. The renter's doing a driver verification, background, and all that kind of stuff. So
love it.
There's all the checks, all the T's and I's.
Are most of the RVs that you have, are they drivable or are they tow behinds?
No, there's a mixture of everything. Yeah. Yep. We started off kind of my niche since I started off with a travel trailer was full service. We deliver, set up, and pick up. You show up and enjoy. That was our tagline. But then once we, started stumbling into the drivables, then we, saw the need there as well. And that's, class B's rent out amazing, smaller class C's, and all the way up to, we've got, several $100,000 class A's that, a couple of my franchisees have agreements with Talladega and Bonnaroo Music Festival and stuff like that. They'll supply the big, huge class A's where somebody might come in for 4 days and pay $12,000 to be on the infield and, have the full luxurious experience with the heated marble floors. You can go, you can buy a Primo nowadays for a couple million.
City on wheels, right? Yeah.
Wild.
That's great. So if we're talking to somebody here listening it sounds like there's two ways that they could get into the real estate space, so to speak, right? They could certainly join your company as a franchisee if there's maybe not one already in their territory. But they could also go out and start, like, let's say that they enjoy RVing, maybe they already own an RV. So it's like they want to put their existing RV into the short-term rental space, or they want to go buy an RV and do that. What are some guidance you have for people that are either looking to buy one for personal enjoyment but also for revenue, or from someone that wants to monetize their current mobile home? That's not
Yeah.
mobile home, RV. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the cool thing about the rental space. You can definitely try before you buy. So that's something that we strongly recommend. And we have dealerships that refer us business just for people that, hey, they want to try it to see if they even enjoy camping. And on the other side of that, we have husbands and wives calling saying, hey, if you don't take the keys to this RV, we're going to be in divorce court next week. Just here's the RV. We tried it. We hate it. Like, we need 4,000 square feet. We can't do it in 400, Yeah, my advice to someone who's looking to buy an RV and then they're going to rent it out when they're not using it is buy what you want to suit your needs first. Don't be so worried about, how's it going to rent and this and that, because if you don't even enjoy it when you're using it, I mean, it kind of defeats the whole purpose, right?
Right.
So first, figure out what's the best needs for you and your family, what's going to satisfy you guys the most. Go with that. And then on the other side of it, if you're going to rent out your RV on one of the peer-to-peer platforms, is you've got to detach yourself emotionally, because an RV is one of my RVs, I call it the mobile memory maker. It's a 2017. I've got over 130,000 miles. We literally full-time for 5 years, me, my wife, and our 4 kids. We circled the country several times. We had a blast. We made so many memories.
You're actually able to convince your wife to enjoy RVing. So you're able to bring her around. Good job. Good husbanding there, because it sounds like her dislike for this RV space was the reason that she started this business. And good thing she didn't like it, by the way. So good for you that she didn't like it at first, because you wouldn't be here if she did, right? Think about that. Have you had that thought that had she fallen in love with this thing, this business wouldn't have happened? Maybe just by the grace of God that she didn't like it, and that made you put that first one on up for rent, and here we are, right?
Oh yeah, that's actually one of my favorite sayings: is life does not happen to you, life happens for you.
Yeah.
So when life happens, we can be a victim of the circumstance, or we can say, okay, why is this happening for us? Like Napoleon Hill says, every failure, there's a seed of an equivalent advantage. So how can we figure out, okay, in this moment of pain and desperation, how could this actually be turned around for the good? And we know that God can use all things, for good, if we're just calm down, take a breath, balance the emotions, and then start trying to figure out your next step.
Love it. Okay. So other advice for people that are looking to get into the space, that, like you said, if you're going to buy something and enjoy it, buy something that you'll enjoy, and have a little bit of faith that the world will rent something that you enjoy, right? Because even if it's kind of funky, kind of unique, there's actually a user for everything in that. So if you like it, there's other people that are going to like it too. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Buy something that you would like. And then the other side of it, you've got to detach yourself a little bit emotionally, because, other people are going to be sleeping in the bed. When I first started doing this, I asked my sister-in-law, hey, I'm renting my camper out. I'm making a ton of money. You want me to rent yours out? She's like, no, I'm not going to let somebody sleep in my bed. Like, why would you even ask me that? To her, it made no sense. But they camped all the time. They had lots of emotion, kind of like you said too, you had to load the RV full of stuff. Well, they use the RV so much. If I was going to rent it out for them, they would always have to be unloading it with a bunch of their personal stuff. So for her, it was a no-brainer not to do it,
Yeah.
And
I know
we've
people
actually
that won't rent houses out. I have my sister-in-law owns a shore house in a primary location. She could be making it rain with that shore house. And that shore house is sitting there right now. And a lot of times over the summer, she could be making a lot of money. But same thing. I don't want anybody using my dishes. I don't want their mouths on my glasses. I don't want them in my bed or in my showers or whatever it is. I get that. Okay. If you don't want that, then that's money lost, but that's your personal decision to not do it. That's not something my wife and I would want to do, because we've drank the landlord Kool-Aid. So for me, I'm just like, if I'm not using it, I want to monetize it, Yeah.
There is such a blue ocean here with the RV rental space. There's over 12 million RVs around the country. So we've actually gotten to a point where if somebody uses their RV 2 or 3 times a year, we probably won't take them into our program, because we can literally take people where their RV is sitting around doing nothing.
Mm.
especially post COVID. There's so many people who bought RVs during COVID, zero down, no payment until your kid graduates high school. I mean, that literally they're more upside down on RV. I mean, they'll finance these things out to 25 years. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. They're
Yeah.
so far upside down. I just talked to a couple yesterday. They want me to sell their RV for them. They put $100,000 down on this RV, and they're prepared to take about a $30,000 loss still with me selling it for them.
God bless him, man. It's funny, man. This is you still got that credit repair guy. He's still in there, in that, because that's a lot of the thing is, as you know, like long-term finance can be the absolute sinking of people. To finance something for 25 years that maybe only has like a 7 or 8 year useful life, at the end of the day, that is a little hand grenade waiting to go off, in that. So if somebody does it the right way, what, as an RV owner, if you could like magic wand it, right? And somebody like, hey, I want to get into the space and I'm willing to put my RV up for rent. What is the way that, should they buy it free and clear only? Is it okay to finance it, lease it, whatever it is? And what kind of cash flow would they expect to make? So if you could design the best financing package, if one exists, and what kind of revenue would they expect to make on the back end? If you're able to get as general as enough as that, I think a lot of our audience would love to hear some numbers here.
Yeah, definitely. So the drivable RVs, once you introduce the engine, then you've got to be real careful. You've got to have a good exit strategy. So you've got to keep an eye on your mileage. You got to charge the proper overages for mileage. That's one of the things we see on these platforms is someone will rent their RV out, $250 a night, unlimited mileage. It's like, oh my gosh, you're not doing yourself any help. So you really got to keep an eye on your mileage and then have an exit strategy. You really are only going to run a drivable. You'll even see that with like Cruise America, Road Bear, Almonte, the big nationwide guys. That's their business strategy. They'll buy them brand new for the factory. They'll buy 300-400 a season, and then they'll exit them once they hit, 30, 40,000 miles. The travel trailer, you get a lot more leeway, because you don't have the engine component.
Let's go with the travel trailer, because you're right. There's a lot of overhead associated, as I understand, engine repair and stuff like that on the drivables, right? So let's go with like, what do they call it? Like a fifth wheel or like a tow behind or something like that. Like typical tow behind. What would you, if you were advising a new person into the space on this, would you advise them to finance or lease something like that and they could make over that in cash flow? Or is it better if they just own it free and clear?
Somebody into the space, it would most likely be somebody that's already has an RV and they're not using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Because like I said, that's what we saw, especially during COVID. People were buying, people that already had built fleets because this industry is only about 10 years old, the peer-to-peer space. So what happened was all the dealerships got out of RV rentals.
Yeah.
12, 15 years ago, and you just had the big national companies left.
Yeah.
Because they saw their money was more in service and warranties.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy went camping. He decided, man, I'll just buy an RV for my trip and I'll rent it when I'm done. He got back from his trip. He realized there wasn't a good marketing platform. That's how RV Share was born. This guy was bought out for multiple eight figures a couple of years ago. That's how the RV Share, the founders of this peer-to-peer platform came to be. Kind of the same as my pain. He saw a need, jumped in. And that's where I see a lot of people go wrong is they'll go buy an RV to rent it out. There's a lot of factors there, but on an average, just to give you some numbers, so we're talking some numbers. Last year our average rental, we did thousands of rentals last year. Our average rental was 5 days. Our average booking was about $1,300.
Yeah.
So somebody in our management program who's getting 50% of the nightly rental revenue, they're making about $300 to $500 because some of that $1,300 is add-on fees and stuff.
Yeah.
The average RV owner is making about $500 to $700.
Yeah.
So that's in the management fleet, that's the averages. But somebody deciding, hey, I want to just go out and buy an RV so I can rent it out. I don't recommend it. I've got a 2017 Class C sitting right outside my window here. It's got 130 something thousand miles on it. And when I go to sell it, if I do, I'm going to it's paid itself off 3 times with renting it out, but that's the whole, like I said, when God showed me it's other people's assets, that's really, and we're getting ready to, I haven't shared this with anybody yet, but we're getting ready to launch a program February 19th. It's called the Principal Paydown Program. Because
Okay.
we found this huge need in the market. People want to get out of their RVs that bought them during COVID. So what we're doing is we're actually going to go and we're going to do a valuation with them, figure out what the RV is worth. We're going to figure out their exit strategy. We're going to rent it out to help them pay it down to where they can actually sell it.
Oh
Then we're
man.
going to market it and sell it for them.
I get like you're gonna make money doing this, but you're also helping people out of a major burden that they're in. The credit repair guy has never left you. You like that. This is the credit repair guy that was there in 2016, and it's almost like you've done in a lot of ways through the RV through your RV program. And I get there's a lot of joy that credit. I've met a lot of credit repair folks, and at the end of the day, you're really helping people level up. You're doing this. You're helping people benefit their lives through real estate investing or through they bought these vehicles thinking they wanted to do something great with themselves, wanted to build a better life with their family, wanted it for joy, right? And because they were it's like taking advantage of it, whatever, made some bad decisions financially, they end up with a noose around their neck that's parked in their driveway. You're able to help them exit from that with this new program. I love this. Thank you for doing what you do, man. And let's end it with that. On your shirt there, you got God first, right? So tell me a little bit more about that, the wind in your sails, what's behind what you do and how it shows up in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, man, it is God first. It's in Him with that we live and breathe and have our being. And my businesses, I was actually fired for my job in 2003 for sharing my faith. And the
Uh,
interesting thing about that is I actually got saved at that job. So I literally was at my job, getting high, doing all the things I was doing. They saw me radically transformed. I became a manager, had 30 guys under me. One day I made one of my big bosses mad that didn't like the God first. He ended up firing me. He found, hey, Michigan's a right to work state. We're eliminating your position. And it was cool how God uses all things that literally kicked me out of the boat into my entrepreneurial journey. I talk about it here. I've got this book published on Amazon, My Real Estate Story, and it shares my entrepreneurial journey all the way from my first business in 5th grade to selling drugs, using my entrepreneurial skills before I met Jesus to
yeah.
where I'm at now. And yeah,
Hey,
so it's,
Nabiku, post a link to that. My Real Estate Story. Please, Nabiku, post a link to that book on Amazon if you can find it, please. That's awesome, man. That is a phenomenal why. I find that if you look for God, He's not that hard to find. And you realize that He's got your back way more than we like to believe. And I think that those that I know that see God in their day-to-day lives end up leading what some would look at and call a charmed life on the outside. And it's really just them realizing that everything in their life's a blessing and that they're going to not let themselves get knocked down or stuck in the mire on things or whatever it is, but they're also going to get themselves off, dust themselves off because they know that they've got that backstop of, God's got them. He's the wind in their wings. He's not going to let them fail forever in that. So I think that there's a certain mindset, a certain belief structure that it takes that it takes in entrepreneurship. And a lot of folks I know that are people of faith are able to get themselves up, try again, try again, try again. And that's really what it takes for success. And the reason why they're able to do that is because they know that you really can't fail forever when you've got faith like that. So God bless you, man. That's great stuff. If people want to hear more about you, and we've just dropped the link to your book in that. So thank you, Nabiku, for dropping that. That's to your website, myrealestatestory.com. And that. So if you could just drop out, Garr, how people, if they want to join one of your franchises, they want to pick your brain, they want to hear more about how Garr does what he does, man. Tell us more about how people can reconnect with you.
yeah, so that link there, you can go on and download a free copy of my book.
Sweet.
And then if you want to learn more about our franchise opportunity, we host several webinars a week where we
Nice.
go through the opportunity. It's Fireside RV Rental franchise.com is the website.
Yep. FiresideRVRental.com. Is that it?
You can go there as well and click on the navigation and click start a branch. Or if you go to FiresideRVRentalFranchise.com, then it will take you right to.
Yeah. Nabiku dropped that in there too. Fireside RV Rental Franchise.com as well. So folks that want to hear more can go to one of Garr's webinars, hear more, meet the man in person. And that, Garr, I think that you are on the cutting edge of a very changing industry. I really commend, and I'm really motivated personally by the why behind you and why you do what you do. I think that you yourself are going to have help a lot of people create financial freedom through RV ownership, not just through cash flow they're making, but maybe folks that kind of have a burden around their neck a little bit that's sitting in their driveway, cost them a lot of money, and they're going to end up having to write a big check to get rid of one day. But through what your new ventures, what you're able to help them do is to exit and maybe even create profit or create financial freedom for themselves long term. So awesome stuff, Garr. Love to hear more from what you're up to. So please keep in touch with us. And guys, check out Garr's links there. Great conversation about real estate. Love it, Garr. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, guys.
Cool. See it. Guys, great conversation. Everything, it depends on what you look at, right? Anything in life could get turned into either a business or a revenue stream or whatever that is. And that could be the home that you're in now. That could be the RV, could be your personal vehicle, it could be your time, could be any of those things that could be a vehicle to create cash flow for yourself or financial freedom for yourself. So a great conversation with our friend Garr, really, really inspiring. Hey guys, Matt Faircloth here. Thank you for listening again to the Cash Flow Digest. I really appreciate you guys doing that. If you guys want to hear more about what DeRosa Group has to offer, go to DeRosaGroup, DeRosa Group.com, DeRosaGroup.com online. You can hear about all the great things that we offer from an educational standpoint and passive investment standpoint on our website. See you there. And if you guys want to join our online community, DeRosa Insiders on Facebook, where you can watch this program get recorded every Friday at noon Eastern, and you can come on as even a guest or ask questions on the show. We hope to see you guys on our online community, DeRosa Insiders. See you there.